It appears that the furore surrounding the identity of the mystery BBC presenter accused of paying for explicit photographs of a teen is, we are sure, music to the ears of Phillip Schofield and going some way to bury further revelations about his own shadiness. The victim of a spiteful revenge porn attack carried out by a close friend of Phillip Schofield has now accused the TV presenter of an abuse of power after he gave a court statement that may have helped the perpetrator to escape with a lenient sentence. Scofield has previously railed against revenge porn on ITV's This Morning, describing it as a most distressing crime and voicing his sympathy for victims. But speaking exclusively to the Mail on Sunday, the victim branded Scofield a hypocrite for providing a character reference for his friend Ben Perryman, which he said ruined a big part of his life. Perryman, 30, received a suspended 12-week jail term in 2018 after pleading guilty to posting a naked picture of the man, whom he was in a tumultuous relationship with for around 6 years, to 30,000 people on Twitter. He also sent the image directly to the man's work colleagues and bosses, in what a judge described as a particularly spiteful and targeted and focused act of revenge. Phillip Schofield has repeatedly told the Mail on Sunday in recent weeks that when he wrote the character reference he did not know what it would be used for. But a 3-week investigation by the Mail on Sunday has prized open court documents that reveal he knew full well the reference was going to be used by his friend in court. The judge who sentenced Perryman was reassured by Perryman's barrister that his referees knew he'd admitted the offense. It means that Phillip Schofield appears to have once again lied to the newspaper about his relationships with young men. Schofield has since said he did not recall being told his reference would be used in court. In 2016, Phillip Schofield interviewed 3 female victims on This Morning, describing their ordeal as truly shocking and saying they were victims of the most distressing crime. But less than 2 years later, in June 2018, he was one of 3 people who provided written references vouching for Perryman's good character ahead of his sentencing hearing at Liverpool Crown Court. Perryman's victim, who has asked to remain anonymous and who the newspaper has called James, said he believes Scofield's intervention helped Perryman to dodge jail and secure a lenient sentence. James said, "I feel like Phillip Schofield robbed me of the justice that should have been served for a horrendous crime that someone committed. I was basically told that yeah, this happened, but it's not that serious, so this is the sentence that he'll get. I had to live through that for a very long time, questioning myself that I overreacted to this. I'm angry at him, Scofield, because it just seems like an abuse of power. I guess, I am a powerful celebrity, I can use my fame to get people off the hook." James was so infuriated at Scofield's behavior that he considered phoning This Morning to confront him live on air during another TV segment about revenge porn. He continued, "I honestly wanted to phone up the This Morning helpline, hoping that I would get through to speak to him. I wanted to say, if you think so strongly about this, why did you give a character reference in my court case? I would love to hear from him about why he thinks it's acceptable that he played so much of a part defending someone's actions, but then can go on and say this is a really bad subject." James, then a university student, began seeing Perryman in 2012. Their early relationship had a whirlwind intensity, with Perryman moving into James's and his parents' home within months. "Ben is one of those who you spend an hour with and you are already drawn in. He is very charming when he wants to be," James said. But cracks began to show after 2 years and the relationship became increasingly turbulent. James said he became aware of a third person in the background of their relationship, Phillip Schofield. Perryman had told his boyfriend he was friends with Schofield, who he called his godfather or Uncle Phil, saying he'd met him through one of Schofield's daughters. James said that initially Perryman, who was still living in Liverpool, would see the TV presenter in London around 4 times a year, but the pair would regularly speak using FaceTime or message each other via the Telegram app. In about 2014, Perryman told the victim that Schofield had invited them both to watch the filming of an episode of ITV's All-Star Mr. and Mrs., which Schofield presented. He instructed his boyfriend not to speak to his celebrity friend, James claimed. "Ben told me I was not allowed to speak to Phil. We were in the back row, which was for friends and family, and I was sat on the very end of the row. Ben was next to me and Phillip Schofield reached over my lap to shake Ben's hand and then greeted everyone else, and completely ignored me." After this episode, Perryman had more contact with Schofield. The TV presenter would call his friend on FaceTime during This Morning adverts breaks or from holidays in his villa in Portugal, James claimed. Ben would say things like, "I've got to go to London," but wouldn't tell me why, and when he came back it would be, "Oh yeah, I went for dinner with Phil." James and Perriman's relationship finally imploded in December 2017 after James landed a new job in northwest England. James claimed Perriman wrongly believed that James was cheating on him. During a shift shortly before Christmas, James sent Perriman a picture of him with a female work colleague in a bid to prove that he was not with another man. This, he claimed, angered Perriman because he believed James was discussing details of their relationship with the woman. James claimed he returned to the house in Liverpool that he shared with Perriman and Perriman's mother to discover that all his clothes and belongings had been dumped on the street outside. Next morning he was inundated by messages from friends on social media telling him that Perriman had posted a picture on Twitter of him laying naked in a bath. Perriman deleted it a few hours later but sent a less explicit version of the picture to James's work colleagues with a caption that read, "Check out my ex-boyfriend's nude on Twitter." James said he was devastated and suicidal, adding, "I was heartbroken that he could do something like that, but also broken as a person, as in how do I physically recover from this level of trauma that's happened? It just crushed my soul, my self-esteem. I've been in therapy to work through all my anger and anxiety issues. I thought that every person I met in the street had seen me naked. I thought that I would never be able to trust anybody again." James told police. Perriman was arrested and, in May 2018, pleaded guilty at Liverpool Magistrates Court to posting a private sexual photograph without consent. James said the Crown Prosecution Service advised him not to attend Perriman's sentencing at Liverpool Crown Court, partly as it would be very hard for him. More than a year later he discovered that Perriman's defense team had submitted 3 character references to Judge Dennis Watson ahead of the hearing. The court confirmed to the newspaper that one of those references was submitted by Phillip Schofield. Judge Watson said he was in no doubt Perriman's offense crosses the custody threshold. But he highlighted his good character and personal history, which included dealing with being on the autistic spectrum. He added, "I have also read the character references from a variety of people in different fields who speak highly of you." Sentencing him to a 12-week suspended sentence, he said, "You are in fact lucky not to be serving a 12-week sentence straight away." Perriman was also given a 4-year restraining order and an 8-week curfew, during which he had to wear an electronic tag. Revenge porn became an offense in 2015, with a maximum jail sentence of 2 years, and James believes the character references may have contributed to Perriman receiving a soft sentence. "Phil doesn't realize the impact that writing that statement had on me. It was a total disregard for my feelings, my well-being, everything, which is just a constant of Phil since the beginning of mine and Ben's relationship when Phil became involved in it." He added, "It is almost like he doesn't want to think I exist, I'm not in his life." So, for him to write that statement was I guess nothing to him, just like when he met me at Mr. and Mrs., it was nothing to just ignore me, like I didn't exist. His fury grew when he learnt that Scofield had addressed the issue of revenge porn on This Morning. In 2016, the year before Perriman's crime, Scofield and co-host Holly Willoughby interviewed 3 women about revenge porn after a 36-year-old man stole pictures of them from social media and posted them on an X-rated website. This March, Scofield and Holly interviewed reality TV's Georgia Harrison after her ex-partner Stephen Bear was jailed for 21 months for sharing a sex video of them on his OnlyFans website. Voicing his sympathy at her ordeal, Scofield said, "You waived your right to anonymity over this, but with a crime like this, there is no anonymity. You are named, you are visible. There is literally nothing you can do about it." James said, "He is such a hypocrite for highlighting the impact of revenge porn while at the same time providing a character reference for someone who was convicted of that crime." A spokesman for Scofield said, he does not recall being asked whether his reference would be used at the proceedings. Perriman insisted he didn't know he would face a charge of revenge porn when Scofield provided the reference. "So we knew it was a court case but didn't know what it was for," he said. He added, "Phil is one of the nicest humans I've ever met. He's a great family friend and would do anything for anyone. I called him my unofficial godfather because he's the best person to run to for advice on anything. I speak to him most days, that's what good friends do." The Mail on Sunday first approached his representatives more than a month ago and asked about a character reference he wrote that was used in court for his friend Ben Perryman, who admitted a revenge porn offense. In a statement on June 16, Scofield claimed he did not know the reference was going to be used in a criminal trial. "I was asked for a character reference. I had no idea what it was to be used for," he said. The puzzling response raised questions about how the statement could have featured in Perryman's court hearing if Scofield had seemingly not given his explicit consent. Questioned further, Scofield's lawyer said, "I cannot comment on how the reference was presented and/or by whom." Determined to uncover the truth, the Mail on Sunday applied for a copy of the transcript of Perryman's 67-minute sentencing hearing at Liverpool Crown Court on June 13, 2018. The crucial document was sent to them and astonishingly, it revealed how the court was told that the three people who provided references for Perryman were aware of his crime. Defense barrister Philip Astbury reassured Judge Dennis Watson he had checked that the referees are aware of why they have written the reference and why he, Perryman, is here today. He added, "So those references all come in the knowledge, even if it is not expressly in the reference, of what he faces and what he has done, and yet they speak very highly of him." The court separately confirmed in writing to the newspaper that Scofield was one of those who had provided a short statement. Asked yesterday if Scofield had lied, his lawyer said, he does not recall being asked if the reference that he provided could be used at the hearing. The exchange comes less than 2 months after Scofield admitted to lying to the Mail on Sunday about a relationship with a much younger man who worked with him on This Morning. Scofield further confessed that he lied to ITV, colleagues, friends, and his agents at management company YNU. Blinkerhole wonders what else Phillip Schofield has been lying about, because it's beginning to sound like his entire life has been one big lie from the outset. Please like and subscribe for more journeys through the Blinkerhole. For entertainment purposes only.